Imagine knights in gleaming armor, charging into battle at Australia's National Jousting Championship. It's a scene that captures the imagination. In 2018, Renae Marisma attended a medieval event at Kryal Castle, a replica fortress and theme park located just outside Ballarat in central Victoria. Little did she know that this visit would lead to a job offer, a phone number, and what would blossom into an extraordinary love story. "I literally found a knight in shining armor," Renae recalls, referring to her now husband Cliff, whom she met during a jousting demonstration. Cliff, on the other hand, has a more practical take on their romance. "I think she figured it's just cheaper to fall in love and marry me than to keep paying me for lessons." Fast forward 5 years, and Renae proudly held the title of Australia's jousting champion, with her quarter horse Goldie delighting the crowd, especially the children who affectionately dubbed her the horse that Barbie would ride. However, just 2 days before she was set to defend her title at the recent 2025 championship, Renae faced a setback when Goldie had to be withdrawn from the competition. Mounted on a borrowed horse named Paco, she watched as Philip Leach, her boss at the castle, reclaimed the title at the very venue where their journey began. The sport that Leach has dedicated 16 years to perfecting is far removed from the dramatized portrayals often seen in Hollywood films. In reality, jousting passes last a mere 4 seconds, during which riders charge at each other at full speed, aiming wooden lances at shields strapped to their opponents' chests. Upon impact, the lances splinter dramatically. 3 points are awarded for a complete shatter, 2 for a clean break, and 1 for solid contact. "It's not as dangerous as it looks," Leach assures, noting how the sport has evolved from rough entertainment to a highly skilled competition. The skill level now is much higher than it was even a decade ago. The mental aspect of jousting is just as demanding as the physical. Newer competitor Jay Dominic describes the overwhelming anxiety she feels the moment the lance is in her hand, almost to the point of losing her vision just before she charges down the list. For others, however, the sport provides a sense of tranquility. Cliff shares, "It's the serenity I find when I'm actually in my harness, sitting on the horse, looking down the tilt at another spectacular knight ready to play. It's that moment when you just leave and get this nice, beautiful, perfect pass." The bond between rider and horse is essential in jousting. Renae explains that the ideal jousting horse should be really brave and a little bit dumb. Brave enough to charge towards another horse while surrounded by cheering crowds and clanking armor, yet naive enough to think this is a reasonable endeavor. Losing Goldie just days before the competition felt like losing a partner for Renae. "It's a total partnership," she emphasizes. "It doesn't exist without the horse." Leach's success hinged on his 19-year-old Frisian stallion, Valiant, with whom he has built a strong bond over nearly 2 decades. "Don't try and mix things up," he advises. "You know what works. Stick to the plan." This year's championship showcased a significant demographic shift, with 12 competitors representing a balanced mix of genders. Just 6 years ago, when Renae began her jousting journey, there were only 3 or 4 women participating in Australia. This championship featured an equal split, 6 men and 6 women. "That's something I've concentrated on," Renae states, recalling her own struggles to break into the sport. Among those she now mentors is 21-year-old Sienna Poynton, who made her major tournament debut after just over a year of training. In this sport, there are no handicaps based on age, size, or gender. Poynton often trains alongside riders with decades more experience. The tournament is overseen by a marshal, Mika Leach, Philip's daughter, who judges the competitions based on criteria such as good horsemanship, good lance control, and getting on target. The paths that led these riders to jousting are as varied as their backgrounds. Poynton was drawn to the sport through her love of fantasy, inspired by films like A Knight's Tale and her lifelong passion for The Lord of the Rings. The idea of just getting to dress up in armor and charge at someone else on a horse with a big stick seemed very fun, she shares. Renae, on the other hand, came from a traditional equestrian background, adding medieval combat to her existing skills. Leach took a different route, having honed his skills in martial arts and weapons fighting. I found that jousting was a thing that you could do without being sent to jail for trying to kill someone, he jokes. The sport attracts participants from all these diverse backgrounds, all converging on the same thrilling experience. Two riders thundering towards each other at combined speeds of 60 kilometers per hour. The armor worn by the competitors varies widely in style and cost. Poynton's setup was relatively affordable, costing less than $1,000. Birthday money well spent on off-the-shelf pieces. In contrast, Renae's 15th-century German Gothic armor set her back about $40,000. A really nice car I could have bought, she quips. Cliff has invested even more, stating, I'm already, 80 grand or something inside my harness, not including saddles, bridles, and other horse gear. This investment in quality armor provides a sense of security. I have absolute faith in my armor, that I will not be injured in any way, Renae asserts. This confidence is evident. While newer jousters may flinch at the sight of approaching lances, seasoned riders in high-quality armor remain unfazed. The growing popularity of jousting is evident at Kryal Castle. Aaron Albrecht and Brendan Gray traveled from Perth to celebrate Albrecht's 40th birthday after discovering the championship through a Google search. Both have martial arts backgrounds but had never witnessed jousting before. I did not care about jousting until I came here, Brendan admits. And now I have a stick with a bunch of signatures on it because we're fangirling. If you love martial arts, you will love jousting, he adds. You just have to understand what's going on. The future of the sport is bright, as seen in sisters Lucy, 19, and Lana, 17, Tyrell, who are currently working as squires and line marshals. They discovered jousting as children during visits to Kryal Castle and now train with Renae, even purchasing a foal for future competitions. If you had an angry day, you can take it out on the shield, Lucy says, and they are already joking about settling sibling disputes through jousting. Whoever wins the joust wins the argument. Leach's reflections after his victory highlight the evolution of jousting. The level of jousting and strategy was just increasing year on year, he notes, still clad in his 36 kilograms of custom armor. This is becoming more competitive. The competition was fierce, with only a few points separating the top finishers. As the reigning Australian champion, Leach's next goal is to establish a local jousting association to streamline insurance processes and make events more accessible. He is also open to the idea of hosting future national championships in other states, aiming to create a fair environment for all participants. This medieval sport, which attracts enthusiasts of fantasy, horsemanship, and martial arts, is evolving. It is transitioning from mere castle entertainment into a legitimate competitive arena while maintaining its chivalric essence.